I'd like to praise Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, double honors to the elders, a great millstone that's holding down the highways and byways, and all, give thanks to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, double honors to the elders, praise Yahweh. He gave us this wisdom, All right. This is doing an open platform, response video. This is Psalms 55 and 21. The words of his mouth was smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. Words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So you gotta watch out for this Edomite, you know what I'm saying? He's real smooth, you know what I'm saying? Smooth as butter, with war in his heart, You want to bring violence to the city, corruption, bombs, war strategies, ambushes. He got war in his heart. That was on Psalms 55 and 21, And the swords represent the weaponry he have in America as well. Psalms 55:21. Yep. Precept, Ecclesiasticus, and Apocrypha 12 and 10. Never trust thy enemy, for as his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Never trust thy enemy. He done took the land, took patents, chemtrails in the sky. Edom, Idunium, from the Caucasus Mountains to Mount Seir.
The unforgiving treachery of E. Let's start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach Kodash. The name of this one is The Unforgiving Treachery of E. And this is pretty much based off of a video, actually a trailer that was sent to me earlier this morning by the priest Zabak from the New York camp. I'm sorry, not priest Zabak, Salakia. I got priest Zabak on the brain for some reason. The priest Zakar from the New York camp. And pretty much this title, part of it came to me earlier, then part of it just came to me just now. So wanted to go into it. The word unforgiving is not willing to forgive or excuse people's faults or wrongdoings of conditions harsh and hostile. And once we go into this trailer, I'm not going to show you the trailer, obviously you get a copyright, but you'll be able to watch it. I put it in the description box if you want to just put the video on pause and go watch it real quick, and then come back to this video, then feel free to do so. Excuse me. But once you see it, you'll understand. And the next word is treachery, betrayal of trust, deceptive action or nature. And we're going with, because they also betrayed trust. That's why I said his words were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. But also they are deceptive in their actions or nature, because that's the devil for you. The serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. Now, what the trailer I'm talking about is a movie called Killers of the Flower Moon, and this is a Martin Scorsese score, or Martin Scorsese flick, starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, and others. and Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro played the part of the two devils, two Edomites, that set up these Gadites at Osage, or in Osage County, Oklahoma, to be murdered. Because what happened, just to give you a brief on it, you had this reservation that was given to Gad, because Esau thought that it was pretty much nothing going on there. It was worthless land. So they gave it to Gad, and Gad wanted the rights to any resource that they found. Not that they thought they were going to find anything, but to any resource that they found, they wanted all the rights to it and all the money that came with it. So when that was granted to them, what happened was they actually found that there was oil on that land. And Gad actually became rich on that land. They were doing well off. They were doing good. But like anything else with Esau, he plotted against them, murdered certain ones of them, and pretty much got, were trying to get the deeds to this land again. And pretty much the way that Gad can get their money had to be with the oversight of an Edomite. So Esau is always in everything. Now, what I found interesting is I was reading about this, about the history on this. I was, like, a thought came into my mind as to, before I show you this, as to where exactly Osage was, Osage County, and then when I found out that it was in Oklahoma, my next, thought was, how far was Osage County from Tulsa, Oklahoma? And if you remember Tulsa, Oklahoma, that's where you had the so-called Black Wall Street. And this is around the same time period, in the 1920s, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And when I went to the Google, I typed in how far is Osage from Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? And it says 5 minutes, 1.5 miles via South Boulder Street, which has to be this one coming across, and John Hope Franklin Boulevard, which has to be this one here. You have here Osage Prairie. Down here you have Tulsa, Oklahoma. And they were both thriving Israelite communities. One Northern Kingdom, one Southern Kingdom. And they were both, plotted against. This one was totally burnt to the ground. I'm not sure of everything that happened concerning the Osage Prairie, the Osage County, in this res, we had to do a little more research to find out exactly what happened. But that just goes to show you how this devil operates, and it goes to show you that the curses are real. Let me just pull this up real quick, and then I'm going to show you. I'm not going to show you the trailer, but I'm going to show you, right here. This is the trailer, Killers of the Flower Moon, official teaser trailer, and they show you, you watch this, and when you watch it, it's like, damn, these devils are treacherous, and look at this, the comments are turned off for this, and I wonder why, but that just goes to show you how these devils, how they do, how they do. All right, so let me read this real quick. Deuteronomy 28:15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments, and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So no matter where you went, you jump down to the 44th and 45th verse, it tells you that no matter where we went, the Lord would bring these curses upon us, and these curses will be upon us for a sign to us and to our children that we are the Israelites. Very good precept, Jeremiah 50:33. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together. And that's heavy because they were only within 5 minutes of each other. The Osage County situation that took place, and Tulsa, Oklahoma. All right, which they call Black Wall Street. So, when you get a chance, just watch that. So it says, cursed shalt thou be what? In the city. Was this not a city? You know, was that not a city? Were these not cities? Cursed. Were we not cursed? Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. The field represents the world, so no matter where in the world we went, we would be cursed. And that's a sure sign of who the Israelites are. Now, I got little info here. This is from biography.com. It says the real people Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro portray in Killers of the Flower Moon. It says the upcoming Martin Scorsese film premiered at the Cannes Film Festival to rave reviews. This was dated July 5th, 2023, which was yesterday. This is something that was written by Colin McAvoy. And you see Robert De Niro and Leonardo DiCaprio. Celebrated filmmaker Martin Scorsese is partnering once again with his frequent collaborators Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro on his new film Killers of the Flower Moon, a crime drama about a series of murders in the Osage Nation reservation in Oklahoma during the 1920s. You see? Can you see? Salakia. And check this out. During the 1920s, right? Now, when did the massacre in Tulsa, Oklahoma happen with Black Wall Street? May 31st, 1921. Around the same time, in the same, only like 5 minutes from each other. You can't tell me that ain't spiritual just within itself. All right? It says, like many of Scorsese's most acclaimed films, including Raging Bull 1980, Goodfellas 1990, The Aviator 2004, and The Wolf of Wall Street 2013, his latest movie is based on a true story, Killers of the Flower Moon, which will be released in theaters on October 20, is adapted from a non-fiction book of the same name by David Grann. The film received rave reviews at the Cannes Film Festival, where it premiered and is already generating blah, 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 blah. It says, here's a true story of the Osage murders, a vast and complex plot in which conspirators lied, killed, and even married into families to steal the rights to oil on the Oklahoma land. The conspiracy was so nefarious that it led to one of the first murder investigations by what is today known as the FBI. A conspiracy for oil money. The Osage Nation, a Native American tribe of the Great Plains, were driven from their Kansas land in the late 19th century and relocated to a rocky, barren reservation in northeastern Oklahoma. This just shows you how this devil is. He takes your land, then he puts you on what he perceived to be the worst part of the land. Goddamn devils, boy. The fucking nerve of you devils, man. But then you think you're not going to fucking pay? You think you're not going to pay? The land was, that's what the Lord said, he will not at all acquit the wicked. You motherfuckers are going to get fucked up. That's all I can say. The land was considered worthless until the 1890s, when some of the largest oil deposits in the United States at the time were discovered there. By the 1920s, the Osage people collectively received more than $400 million in today's dollars, making them the wealthiest people per capita in the world. They built terracotta mansions, had chauffeured cars, hired servants, and sent their children to private schools. Doesn't this sound familiar? Just like the Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. This is the devil right here. I believe this is the devil. Well, he's the one that one of the ones that plotted the murders, but he's the one, I think this is the one that Leonardo DiCaprio played. A 1926 photo of William Hale Center, who was the mastermind behind the plot to murder Osage people for the oil rights on their land. Never trust thine enemies. You could see this devil is the devil. You could see he's a treacherous, look at them beady eyes. You could just tell by the beady eyes that this devil ain't no goddamn good. However, a group of businessmen launched a conspiracy to steal the oil right out from under the Osage people using illegal means and even murder where necessary. This scheme was led by William Hale, played by De Niro in the film. Salaki, he was played by De Niro. I thought it was the other way around. Who built a ranch on the Osage reservation and became rich raising cattle there, becoming known as the King of Osage Hills. Rights to the oil revenue could only be legally obtained by outsiders if they married into the tribe. And you know how gullible Gad is, especially the women. In these times anyway, because back in the days, the women were more, more vigilant. Let's see. So Hale encouraged his nephew, Ernest Buckard, this is the one that played by DiCaprio, to marry Molly Kyle, portrayed by Lily Gladstone, an Osage woman living with her mother, Lizzie Q, in Fairfax, Oklahoma, according to Grant's book. A series of mysterious deaths. One by one, members of the family turned up dead. Oh, I wonder why. And they were being killed in the same fashion. Kyle's sister, Anna Brown, was found shot to death in May 1921, same time, same month, when the Oklahoma massacre happened, at Black Wall Street. I kept wanting to say Wounded Knee for some reason. And 2 months later, Lizzie Q died of a suspected poisoning. According to Dennis McAuliffe's book, Bloodland, A Family Story of Oil, Greed, and Murder on the Osage Reservation in March 1923. Another of Lizzie's daughters died along with her husband when their home was destroyed by an explosion. And these murders they were about 10 years, from around 1921 to 1931, or something along those lines. Buckard and Kyle saw their fortunes grow as they inherited the estates of these family members. See, they murdered for money. Lizzie's nephew, Harry Rohn, also died in 1923, and Hale fraudulently named himself the beneficiary of Rohn's $25,000 life insurance policy, according to Grant's book. Meanwhile, other Osage people from outside the family were also dying under mysterious or suspicious circumstances. They were offering them so that they can get the rights to that oil. The Osage killings became one of the first murder investigations launched by the FBI, which was then called the Bureau of Intelligence. Tom White, portrayed by Jesse Plemons, led the investigation, which involved agents going undercover as insurance salesmen, cattle buyers, and citizens to gather evidence. A conspiracy revealed. Hale quickly fell under suspicion, and although some members of local law enforcement attempted to derail the federal investigation because they were all working together, the local law enforcement and these devils. Hale and Buckard were arrested in 1926 for their part in the conspiracy, according to McAuliffe's book. Yep. Oh, yeah. Yep. I'm going to read these real quick. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is like, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. And they what? Covet fields, meaning that they wanted these fields, and they desired these fields, and they murdered for these fields. So dig it. It says, so they oppress a man, and houses, and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. All right. Oh, wow. The Water Brothers for posting precepts. 2nd Ezra 15:53. If thou hadst not always slain my chosen, exalting the stroke of thine hands, and saying over their dead when thou wast drunken, set forth the beauty of thy countenance. The reward of thy whoredom shall be in thy bosom, therefore shalt thou receive recompense. Yeah, because even though they were convicted and they went to prison, they were let out after a certain period of time. So they really didn't fully pay. They were supposed to be in there for life, and they were not. They were let go after a certain period of time. Like as thou hast done unto my chosen, saith the Lord, even so shall the Most High do unto thee, and deliver thee into mischief. Beautiful. Yep. Ecclesiasticus 12:10, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Baruch 4, and matter of fact, before I read that one, let me finish this up here. Verse 11, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of. In other words, you got to watch that level over there. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Why? Because you got your eye on that devil, and eventually the devil is going to slip up. He's going to do something to let you know that he's the devil, because that's how these devils are built. It says, set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, that's why they married into the family, right? He stand up in thy place. And that's exactly what they did. You know, they married into the family, and when these people were mysteriously coming up dead, they, assumed, the leadership position to take over these lands to get the money. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, in other words, to be like an heir, to be a confidant, lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. That's right. Why? Because you're going to be like, damn, I should have never trusted this bastard. Baruch 4:25, my children, suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon you from the Most High. Why? Because this is a chastening from the Lord. See, this is what Gad doesn't understand, and the other tribes don't understand. This is a chastening from the Lord, from the Most High. And no matter how far you would get up, you would never really be successful, because there would be something to knock you down. And it would be the devil, these devils, and also the curses, which the devil is a part of those curses, because he brings it upon Jake. For thine enemy hath persecuted thee, but shortly thou shalt see his destruction, and shalt tread upon his neck, because eventually these devils are going to be put under our feet, and we're going to get revenge. The scriptures don't say that in vain. I'm going to get this real quick since it came to mind, but I want to go back to the article, and I want to read this other precept I got. It says, conspiracy revealed. Hale quickly fell under suspicion, and although some members of a local law enforcement attempted to derail the federal investigation, Hale and Buckard were arrested in 1926 for their part in the conspiracy, according to McCullough's book. Another conspirator named Kelsey Morrison was also arrested after he admitted to murdering Anna Brown, according to Graham's book. It is estimated at least 24 Osage people were killed as a result of Hale's conspiracy. Hale, Buckard, and another conspirator named John Ramsey were all convicted and sentenced to life in the Oklahoma State Penitentiary. Prior to his conviction, Buckard told the authorities he feared Hale would have him bumped off. It showed you the devil always passing the buck. What happened when the Lord came to, he came to Adam, the woman. He came to the woman, the serpent, Everybody's always passing the buck, but especially these devils. What these devils going to do when the Lord come to inquire of them as to what they've done? What's that scripture in they inquire them that have hurt the earth, or something like that? If you brothers know what I'm talking about, it's in the Apocrypha. I believe it's in Ecclesiasticus. I will inquire of them, or it might be in Second Ezra, who that have hurt, what they're hurt for, something like that. I can't think of the actual word. If a brother know what I'm speaking about, Babakushai, if you can grab that. So he basically saying, look, if I wouldn't have done this, he would have had me bumped off. Fucking devils, boy. According to Grant, Morrison, already in prison for an unrelated crime, also received a life sentence. Buckard was set free after receiving a pardon by Oklahoma Governor Henry Belmont in 1965. So this devil was in prison for life for the murder. He was convicted, but then did what? Receive a pardon. This is why the Most High said, let's go. Matter of fact, let me get this precept, and then let me go here. Isaiah 33:1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled. What does it mean to spoil? Means to rob. Woo! You brothers, the water. You brothers. 2 Ezra 6:19. And will begin to make inquisition of them, what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, and when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled. The water to you, brothers. The water. Verse 20, and when the world that shall begin to vanish away shall be finished, then will I show these tokens. The book shall be opened before the firmament, and they shall see altogether. And this is how they are being convicted. They are being convicted by the words of the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, on the net, on the internet, the same internet that the Lord gave them the knowledge to create, to build, to make. Do you see? You know, and now what's happening is these devils are being exposed because they're going through what is called the sentencing stage. After the sentencing stage is done and set, afterward comes the judgment. And this is why the Lord said, whom the Lord shall reveal with the spirit of his mouth and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. When he is about to eat, the Lord shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. Wow. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled. So when you stop robbing the world, especially the children of Israel, then you will be robbed. Because all of those riches that you robbed the world from and you have in your possession are going to be turned right over to us. How about that? How do you like them apples? You like apples? How do you like them apples? And dealers treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. Right, because no one has dealt treacherously with you. Every nation, including Israel, has, no, the real Israelites. I'm talking about the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. I ain't talking about the frauds. Every nation has always tried to work with you, to try to come to some middle ground, some type of agreement, you know, to be able to work with you, you know. But your demonic greed and your demonic treachery won't allow you to do that. You'll smile on their face, but behind their back, you're ready to stab them. And you know exactly how you're going to do it. You know, and you've gotten away with it, but the time is going to come where you're not going to get away with it. You're going to be judged by the power on high, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And you will not escape. Not by a long shot. You will be judged, every last one of you. Reincarnation is real. You are your forefathers in the past, coming back now in these times to be judged for the crimes you committed as your forefathers. The Lord will not at all acquit the wicked. Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers. So it says, let's look up this word treacherously. The word there is bagad. To act treacherously, deceitfully, deal treacherously. Did not we just say that? Did not we just read that? Treachery, betrayal of trust, deceptive action of nature. So when this deceptive action of nature that you've pushed, you've finished doing it because you got to where a place where you're comfortable and you set your nest on high.